security that we're putting in at the ports is being stepped up. We have better equipment. We're going to start building this big new wall very soon as part of the 17 million package that we're doing with the French. So, there are people still getting through.
It's a fence, not a wall, isn't it? We don't confuse it.
We've done the fence, and now we're doing a wall. And that will help with that. We've also, for example, invested in space for 200 lorries in Calais, so that lorries waiting aren't necessarily vulnerable. But there is still more to do.
As Western European countries force a deal on their eastern counterparts to accommodate the hundreds of thousands of refugees streaming in from Syria and elsewhere. But as the arguing continues, so does the suffering. Our report tonight from NBC's Bill Neely.
Europe is battling to control its migrant crisis. French police firing tear gas, migrants attacking, furious they've been blocked from reaching Britain. Across Europe, refugees are on the move and exhausted. Countries say they're overwhelmed. Croatia seeing 30,000 in a week and deploying riot police. The migrants are bussed to Hungary, where armed troops and armoured vehicles await. They're searched by police, even small children, women having hairpins removed.
Is this a humanity? How they deal with the people in this way?
These troops have also been given new powers to open fire on migrants with rubber bullets and tear gas to keep order and to keep them out if needed. Europe's leaders have agreed to take in 120,000 migrants, less than a quarter of those who've come. The UN saying it's no solution.
This is Europe's last chance to get things right.
Because they're still coming. 3,000 people arriving within hours today on dozens of flimsy boats on one Greek island. Europe is still struggling to contain a crisis that's straining its unity, values and reputation. Bill Neely, NBC News, Vukovar, Croatia.
Next year and 100,000 in 2017. Activists have urged the country to accept even more. Meanwhile, the struggle by thousands of migrants and refugees trying to make it to Western Europe continued today along the border between Hungary and Croatia. NBC's Bill Neely is there.
This is what desperation looks like. Trapped for days, migrants storm a train. They've little idea where it's going, but they want to escape to Germany. Thousands of them. Police try to hold them back. There's chaos as a man tries to drag his child on board and fails. Left behind, wives, children. To keep order, Croatian police had separated most men from their families.
The biggest problem that we have here is that families are just being split apart.
The police simply can't cope. So many refugees are sick. This little girl from Syria has a fever, but thankfully a father too. There are just so many, more than 20,000 migrants passing through this one railroad stop alone. The police are here to make sure the migrants get out. They're not wanted here or in any of the neighbouring nations, and they're now in a race to reach any friendly country before the doors close.
I want to continue my study in Germany.
Most are young men, but so many are children, living outside in plunging temperatures.
Unfortunately, we sleep here on the ground without anything. It was very cold. Suddenly the weather has turned to cold and raining.
How old is the baby? Serenoy, her name means flower, was born a refugee on the road 3 weeks ago. No home and no country to call her own yet. On Croatia's border with Hungary, troops have moved in. The Hungarians toughening their hard line, building more fences to keep migrants out. But still they come every day, finding new escape routes. Tonight, like every night, ready for the next train to a new life. Some, of course, never make it this far. 2 boatloads of migrants overturned off Greece today. Many are missing, many drowned, including 4 children. Europe's leaders are bitterly divided over how to solve this. They've failed so far. They will, however, have another... This is the main refugee camp in Croatia, a small country that says it's being overwhelmed by the number of migrants coming through here. More than 30,000 in just over a week, 3,000 coming in and out of this camp today. There is now an agreement in Europe to deal with some of the people here. Europe's leaders agreeing a plan to share out 120,000 migrants across the countries in the European Union. But there is some disagreement because countries in Eastern Europe, many of them, didn't want this plan. They opposed it, they were outvoted, and they're very resentful about that, and they say it cannot be enforced. It was in fact pushed through by some of the bigger countries like Germany and France, but it is a flawed deal. It covers only about a quarter, not even a quarter, of the migrants who are already in Europe, and it will cover the next 2 years, so it doesn't even take into account the migrants who are coming right now. It can't be enforced, and the UN Refugee Agency says it doesn't go far enough. It's a first step, it's not a solution, and it's straining the unity of Europe. East and West bitterly divided, the migrants in here united in their determination to go where they want, not to go where they're ordered to go by Europe's politicians.
Before many had had their first croissant and coffee, the people of Calais were marching hand in hand in protest. An early morning human chain formed to block the main road towards the ferry port and tunnel, fed up with years of increasing violence towards truck drivers and dockers blamed on migrants.
There are now more than 10,000 of them who are imposing their law. We really have to stop it. There are enough of them now.
Those on foot linking up with those in the preferred vehicle of French protest. The mayor of Calais was right at the front. Among the truckers taking part, Philippe Waller, keen to vent his anger.
We're fed up. We want the jungle dismantled. We can't live in Calais. We want to work, but because of this we have lost everything.
In the tented camp they want removed, I met Gamal from Sudan. He spent 6 months trying to get to Britain and has one word to describe those who want the camp demolished.
The fascist is very bad. The jungle is very bad, worries environment. No food, no healthy, no comfortable life. No, everything here is bad. We need to go.
And caught in the middle, bemused British tourists trying to get home.
How's it gone? Have you found it easily?
Well, we've got to know Calais, 2 hours.
2 hours?
In around Calais, yes. It's fun.
After 12 hours of disruption on the A16, tonight, finally the protesters backed down and lifted the blockade. But despite government promises to increase security and demolish the migrant camp, few expect the problem to be solved, meaning truck drivers will continue to run the gauntlet along this now notorious autoroute.